I just finished watching every single pre-fight press conference and media day for UFC 311, and today I wanted to dive into the mindset of each fighter. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, we take these videos every single time that there is a big press conference, and there was a lot to take away from the fighters. I want to take a look at like whether you're a fan of these fighters, kind of getting a gauge on just wanting to predict them, or even looking at this from a betting perspective. Is there anything that we can find? I think that I found some good things from all of these press conferences, listened to them at work, so I had some good time to jot down some notes for this one, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Hit like and subscribe. Let's get into it. I want to start off with Kevin Holland, and okay, I have talked about Kevin Holland's fights for quite some time now and saying, like, I question this guy's motivation. Is he going to show up? Is he going to treat everything like a sparring match? I don't know, okay? Kevin Holland won me over a little bit at the press conference, man. He seems happy and excited again. We haven't seen that from Kevin Holland in a while, because Kevin Holland typically would show up and he couldn't possibly care less about what was going on. He seems to have some really renewed energy to him, and he also is talking about wanting 6 fights this year. Last time he had 6 fights, or at least 5 fights, whatever it was, he ended up steamrolling all of his opponents. So Kevin Holland, he won me over. He won me over. I think he's the far superior fighter to Reiner de Riddler, but I was like, when I was breaking down these fights, when I was talking about the betting guides, I was kind of like, okay, but what version of Kevin Holland's going to show up? He won me over. I believe that a good version of Kevin Holland, a fun version of Kevin Holland, the yappy version of Kevin Holland is going to show up, and I do believe he is going to have a very, very good performance. He won me over. Hopefully, I don't get proven wrong with that one. But kind of bouncing off of that, I also wanted to talk about Arman Tsarukyan, because like we spoke about with Kevin Holland back in the day, or at least in previous fights, Arman Tsarukyan showed up and he just looked like he could not care one little bit for the media. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's really anything to dive into. Make of that what you will. But other than that, he's very confident, and there's one big note when it comes to his performance this weekend. I didn't know this, and I don't know if he's spoken on this before, but he said in his first fight with Islam Makhachev, and in previous fights, he had issues not listening to his corner. He just wanted to go in there. He was confident in himself. He wanted to get the victory. He said this time, no matter what, he is going to be focusing on listening to the feedback from his corner and implementing that game plan. So when fighters do listen to their coaches, of course, that's always a good thing, and it's even sad that we have to bring that up, but Arman Tsarukyan is coming in, and he is planning on listening to his coaches. Now, bouncing off of all of that again, we move on to Renato Moicano, who has the complete opposite approach. The dude is laid back, he is real, and he is supremely confident. Like Kevin Holland, I got a really good feeling from Renato Moicano. He's happy to be here, and when he's speaking about his fast fights, and I think this is a really, really good thing to take into consideration when talking about these fighters' headspaces, Renato Moicano was talking about his past career, his losses, and when he mentions his losses, he doesn't get bent out of shape. He learns from his losses, and he's comfortable with the idea that he is an improved fighter, and there were reasons why he's lost fights before. I just think that is a fantastic headspace to be in. He's real, laid back, he's happy to be here, he's very confident that he's going to get the job done against Beneil Dariush, so I kind of got the same feeling that I did with Kevin Holland, except multiplied by a little bit, because Kevin Holland's always kind of goofing around, right? He's always typically in a good mood, but Renato Moicano, man, he seems locked in, ready to go. Also, guys, if you haven't liked the video and subscribed to the channel, if you're enjoying this video so far, I really appreciate your time over here. Also, if you want to watch more content, we upload more than just MMA videos. If you can check the description down below, we upload gaming content, we upload variety content, we upload content about reviewing movies and shows. I'd love to have you guys over at any other part. Let's get into the video, guys. Don't want to keep you for too long. Let's continue on over to Jamahal Hill. Now, Jamahal Hill's a very, very interesting one, because Jamahal Hill, he just looked drained. He looked drained. Now, this could very well be because of the weight cut, because he did mention about his weight cut at some point in between fights. He was 260 pounds. That makes sense after seeing all of the videos of the giant gut that Jamahal Hill was walking around with. But man, 260, I didn't think it was that bad. And someone close to him, I can't remember if he mentioned it was a coach, but regardless, Jamahal Hill cut supposedly 50 pounds. 50 pounds. That is insane. According to Jamahal Hill, it's been easy, but like just looking at the guy, he looked like he is drained, man. That worries me a little bit. But on the other side of the coin, Jamahal Hill did end up actually somehow cutting those 50 pounds, and he's coming in looking in decent shape. Better shape than when he was against Alex Pereira. And speaking of that fight, he also did touch on that fight, and he spoke about everybody judging his past performance, but he kind of just said, like, you try coming back from an Achilles injury when you're not ready, which is true. We all know that the UFC called him on short notice. We all know that he wasn't necessarily ready to take on this fight, but the UFC, for UFC 300 main event, they threw the big bucks at him. Who wouldn't take that fight? I agree with Jamahal Hill when he says that. Other than that, he's pretty confident, but just looking at him, I don't know if I believe the words coming out of his mouth because he just looks drained. Maybe he'll rehydrate. Maybe he needs to eat. Maybe he is tired. It's just something, again, to take into consideration. Now, let's talk about Merab Dvalishvili, who I also haven't had the best feeling of, okay? Merab has been talking about injury. He says he was injured, and he's going to post about it afterwards. I think Merab is worried about losing. I don't know why he would keep saying that unless he, you know what? I'm not open to the idea, or I'm not closing the idea that he actually was injured. But the problem is, when you're coming into a pre-fight press conference, you're saying, I've been injured this camp. You're kind of setting yourself up for an excuse to lose. Other than that, Merab just kind of seemed on edge. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like he had that vibe with him pretty well the entire time with Umar Nurmagomedov. He just seems on edge. I know there was a whole thing where he's like, don't disrespect me, and he just doesn't like Umar Nurmagomedov, but he doesn't really seem like himself. He seems worried. And to be honest with you, understandably so, he's fighting a fantastic fighter, but I don't know. I don't like the vibe that I'm getting from Merab Dvalishvili, and I really don't like that he's having that built-in excuse ready for his next loss. I don't know, I doubt the UFC is going to give him an immediate rematch, but I'm not feeling so good about Merab, man. I'm not feeling good. So with that, I think there have been some pretty good takeaways from the media day pre-fight press conference. If you're a serious sports bettor, I think there are some things to take a look at when watching these media days. So here I am recapping everything for you. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you're interested, by the way, in the betting guide, check it out right here. We talk about all of the best bets to make on that card. I would love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.